Alex Show.
Welcome to the show. What can we do to be safe in this country we call home, right here in Jamaica? Well, today we have defense expert Jovan Carr with us, and he'll teach us some skills as to how we can defend ourselves and keep ourselves safe. Hi, Jovan. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Jovan, serious times it is, yeah?
Indeed.
Now, the news is rampant with women being abducted, raped, and killed. How do you come in to help women now and to help to keep them safe?
All right. Well, first we have to understand that when it comes on to defense, defense in itself is a self. You have to preserve self.
You have to preserve self.
You have to preserve self.
So if I'm being attacked, the first thing that comes to my mind without being panicky is how I can preserve self.
Self-preservation is key.
Right.
That is the first thing before anything else. Even when you go on the plane, the first thing they say, if you have a dependent and there's an issue, what you do? You put on the gas mask over yourself first and prepare. So you have to defend self. You have to know your surroundings. You not only have to know your surroundings, you have to know your capability and what you're willing to do. A lot of persons right now, when it comes on to self-defense, we are all squeamish, and we, at the end of the day, you have to exhibit a level of brute force greater than that of your assailant.
Sometimes you have to surprise the attacker.
Indeed, you jump on his back.
Because some of these attackers, they're actually cowards too, you know.
Yeah, man.
Right.
What we have to understand equally is a lot of the attackers and don't necessarily have the intention to kill. But when it comes to the test, they will, and they will do the same skill. It is called self-preservation.
Right. Help me to understand, a lot of the attackers, because you made a very important point, a lot of the attackers, in most cases, they don't have the intention to kill.
When it comes on to robberies.
Robberies.
When it comes on to robberies, a lot of the attackers don't come with the intention to kill. Although the Bible tells you that the thief come to kill, steal, and destroy.
Right.
But when it comes down to the test, they equally will go to the state of self-preservation. They don't want to go to jail.
Right.
They don't want to get caught. So it's either you or them. So it becomes a case where you are a blockage and they're willing to get rid of that blockage to go where they need to go.
What are some of the important skills you think women should, and I'm really concerned about our women, because for us men, we might have strength working for us sometimes, right? But for the women, right, what are some of the things necessary that they can learn and know now to preserve themselves?
All right. Some of the things that they can learn, if they drive, they can learn defensive driving. If they travel on the public thoroughfare, they can learn basic maneuvers. Observation is key equally. A lot of the females, I'm not just, we're talking about females.
Right.
A lot of the females, once you're dealing with them, they're in their phones. Right? I had a personal experience where I saw an incident about to happen before it happened. And I was walking down the female because I saw a guy trailing her from a distance. And I said, I literally walked her about a mile and she didn't even recognize that I was behind her. She was in her phone the entire time. When I finally touched her and said, "Miss," she jumped, phone, dropped everything, and she was like, and I'm like, yeah, this is actually happening. You need to put your stuff up, check your surroundings, look where you're going, plot your route in your head, be previous. So don't become spontaneous. Don't just get up. In this time, you can't just get up, oh, I'm going down the road. Where are you going? What is the route you intend to take?
Right.
Who are you going with? Be accountable.
So women now need to be a lot more intentional in where they're going and all of that.
Indeed, everybody needs to be more intentional. But you know, we're talking about females, yes.
Right. How can the phone help us? We travel, we drive, and we take the bus. How can our phone help us as a defense mechanism?
All right, well, the first thing is...
Or a defense tool.
Defense tool. Everything is a tool.
Yeah.
Every single thing. No matter how you see it, everything around us is a tool, and we have to get that in our mind.
Right.
You don't have to have a firearm, you don't have to have a knife, you don't have to have a machete. Everything around it is a tool. Your body is a tool. The watch that I have on is a tool. This bracelet is a tool. It is depending on how you use it, right? So the cell phone now, let us look at the purpose of it. Communication.
Right.
If I have my cell phone and for some reason something happens, it has a SOS system on it that automatically sends out a message to my mother, my brother, my spouse, and they automatically know that something is happening. And it sends them a GPS signal to say, this is where I am the last time the phone was on for whatever purpose. That can be used as a method of tracking, right? Because I know that the Jamaica Constabulary Force, they have a very good tracking team, and they also a lot of time collaborate with the JDF to do tracking equally. So that can be a point to start from when you go to start an investigation. The phone in itself, if you hold the phone properly, it becomes a hard tool, right? If you hit in some soft tissues, you hit some bones with that, I can tell you, it will give you sufficient time to get good distance. I'm not saying it's going to mean somebody, but it will give you sufficient time to get good distance, and that is something that is very crucial. I had a very close friend. She got kidnapped, or technically she was almost kidnapped. And she exercised the same principle that I'm telling you about. Brute force. We can't be all, oh, you need high-heel shoes, use the shoes. Get the shoes. The shoes has a tip. Use the shoes. Do something. You can't just be come and thinking there's going to be a knight in shining armor coming with a sword to save you. No. Save yourself. Yeah? So she did what she needed to do. She came out the car. She ran down the road. And although some of her clothes were torn, she made her escape.
And try to grab the attention of passerbys and everybody. Scream as loud as possible.
Scream. If you need to scream. This one thing though is that Jamaica is becoming somewhat of a selfish state. So right now, before anybody decides to help you, you're like, let me video this because maybe I can get some money off this video. And that in itself speaks to where our morals are going, right? So yes, you scream. There are still good people. Scream. Shout, make noise, create a commotion. Even if they don't come to your aid, majority of the time they will call somebody who is able to come to your aid.
We'll take a break. When we come back, we talk more with Javon about self-preservation.
Alex Show.
Welcome back to the show. We continue our conversation with defense expert Javon Carr. Self-defense driving. Yeah, teach me about that now.
All right, so defensive driving. What do you know about it?
Well, for me, one of the things that I practice, I don't know if that's defense driving. One of the things that I practice is to try to reverse as if I'm driving forward, right? I try to develop that skill. And while not necessarily driving, but as I get into my car, first thing I do is lock. And I try to look around me before I actually enter the car as well. So those are really my tactics as well. And I try to learn how to use my light as well. So, you know, stuff like that. Whether they're on bright or, you know, all those things. So.
Definitely. All of those are actually factors of defensive driving.
Right. See, I know what I'm doing.
Because defensive driving is the means by which you maneuver the vehicle in whatever thoroughfare.
Oh yeah, I'm very good at that on the road actually. Taxi man, very good at that.
Yeah, man. So it is how we maneuver, not only how we maneuver, but how we analyze the road. Because driving is a everyday task. It is not only an everyday task, it is a full job. And what we have to understand is that driving has a psychological aspect to it equally. So when it comes down to defensive driving, it speaks to how you approach the vehicle, how you enter the vehicle.
What's the best way to approach and enter the vehicle?
It depends. Normally, once the area is safe, you check the area so that it's safe to do so. You open the door from your side and you enter, right? Sometimes a lot of persons will press the little open thing.
Key.
Not all the time it is ideal. Not all the time it's ideal. Sometimes
to open it from a distance.
Yeah. Because if you're too far and you open it from a distance and somebody's able to get in that vehicle before you are, you put your life at risk. But when it comes down to defensive driving, we speak about maneuver, how you read the road. A lot of the road accidents right now that are happening is not only because of bad driving practices and improper vehicle maintenance, but it's actually as a result of not being educated properly. Right? Persons
Road
are
signs and stuff
road
like that.
signs and all that. We are not reading enough. So a person's going in a vehicle and they believe it's just about speeding, going fast. No, you don't speed in every situation, because remember, a hazard is anything that causes you to change direction, slow down, or alter your speed. If a ball runs across the road, it's an hazard.
Yes.
If a stop sign comes, it becomes an hazard technically by the definition of what a hazard is.
What about driving at nights and when it rains?
All right, driving at night and when it rains, you have to know a vehicle.
Yeah.
That's the first. You have to know a vehicle. Because driving at night and when it rains, you have to have proper lighting, right? When I teach persons to drive during this period, I say, all right, sometimes you're not able to see the road clearly because of the oncoming traffic.
Right.
So you have to find ways and means to maneuver. One of my techniques is look to the extreme left. You don't take your dressing off the middle of the road. Never take your dressing off the middle of the road. You look to your extreme left, because no matter how the light is bright on the opposite side, you're able to see the left.
Right.
You take your dressing from there.
I mean, I've been doing it well, man. Without even knowing, I've been doing it.
Yeah, man. You take your dressing from there, and not only that, you make sure that your headlights are checked. So the older the vehicle is, you have to do more routine checks.
What about pepper spray and probably other things that people can have on their person?
All right, pepper spray. What I do know is that offensive weapon.
Right.
Prohibition Act 2001, Section 2, Subsection A, make provision for persons to actually have pepper spray.
Yeah.
Yes, I was reading it up to a few days ago, because I was wondering when it was last repealed or appealed or whatever.
Revised or whatever.
Revised.
Right.
So it actually gives reference to persons being able to actually access these things. But where the issue might come in is actually the importation. Because then the Customs Act you would have to write letters to the Ministry of National Security requesting permission to actually
have it,
because
it must be controlled as well.
Yeah, it must,
because the same attackers might use it on you.
Equally so, and it has a kick.
Right. What is the best tactic you would recommend to probably a woman overall? Or in her 50s, 60s, good physical condition nonetheless. Or what are some of the good tactics that we could look at?
Outside of the whole observation thing, knowing how to effect a punch, a proper punch, a proper strike, a proper kick. You don't necessarily...
Where are some of the pain areas I can strike a punch?
All right, as pain area, the abdomen. The abdomen area
in the
is...
center.
The abdomen area, the region over here where you have the ribs. Lower area is the legs. The legs, if you realize the guy the other day. Yeah, the legs they are apart. And you have to be mindful of pressure points. You have pressure points all over your body.
Yeah, where's two?
So you have a pressure point up here, right between your clavicle and the shoulder bone.
Right.
So if you apply sufficient pressure to that area, you'd realize that this arm starts to become numb.
Yeah.
So these are things that is ideal for you to actually know. Some basic information. These information, you can actually go somewhere and learn it from a seminar. You have to be willing to go and actually learn this information.
And that's one of the things that a lot of people they are not willing to go to learn because of the time and all of that. So we have to look at that.
Time, let me tell you, time, we have 24 hours in a day, they say.
Yes.
But in all actuality, I feel like we have at least 18 hours. I personally feel like we have 18 hours. But you have to make the time. At the end of the day, if it is a case that somebody needs something or you're in need of something, if your vehicle needs gas, you're going to go to the gas station.
Surely.
So if you need to learn this information for your own self-preservation, go where it is and learn.
All right, so we're about to make some time on the other side of the break to learn some techniques with Javon. So I want to tell Javon from now that he needs to be worried. We'll be right back.
Alex Show.
Actions speak louder than words, and we're back with defense expert Javan Carr. And today is my first training exercise. Javan, are you ready? Because I think you need to be worried, actually.
Jeez.
You know, because I'm going to learn some techniques from you, but because I know I've watched enough Kung Fu in my lifetime,
Definitely.
you need to be ready. But before we get into that, you own a defensive driving school?
Yes.
Yeah, tell me about that.
All right, so it's CARS Institute of Defensive Driving.
It's CARS
Institute of Defensive Driving and Vehicle Maintenance. Long name, but it tells you exactly what we do. We teach defensive driving and how to do routine maintenance on the motor vehicle, which is something that everybody should know. So from oil check right down to change a tire. And if you're so interested, we teach you how to service a motor vehicle, change the disc pad, the basic things that I believe everybody should know how to do.
What if I need to learn self-defense techniques? I can do a session with you? Private session? No, you don't specialize in it, but you just know about it.
I know about it. I've gotten some training both locally and internationally. Right. So I wouldn't necessarily say I want to divulge in that state because there are some things that not everybody should know.
Right.
But I can direct you to persons who have dojos and locations that actually can do that.
How early can people start defensive driving? How early?
All right, defensive driving. Once you're able to get a driver's permit. So once you're able to get a driver's permit, we can start, and earlier it is way better because before you learn all of the things that we have to unlearn, we can get you to the state of yes. So it's like how earlier in the set you say reverse, try to reverse as fast as you drive.
Right.
Yeah, we have you going through cones and doing multiple.
Oh, so I can actually learn to reverse
through obstacles. Yes.
Okay, I can do that.
I know you can.
Do you find that a lot of people are coming in for defensive driving to learn about it? Do you see an increase?
Yes, I see an increase as it pertains to person. I see an increase as it pertains to females equally because I realized that especially night driving, and not only that trauma. A lot of persons actually suffer trauma, so they want to learn how to not only overcome that trauma, but learn itself how to drive properly.
What do I do when I'm traveling and somebody might step out in the road with a firearm or any weapon? You know, I'm driving on a lonely road. Apart from press gas, press gas harder, what are some of the things that we can do?
All right, you're driving on a lonely road, somebody step out before you, the road is clear. My first solution, don't come out the car. You're in a motor vehicle, at least you're behind the engine bay and the engine is enabled to actually reduce certain caliber rounds. So don't come out the car. That's the first thing. Somebody point a gun at you.
There's a chance that they might miss.
There's a chance that they might miss, and self-preservation is first, as I say. So if it means that you have to, as I said, press gas and pray to God that you hit something.
And for our vehicles, we need to install cameras and stuff like that.
Yes. Dash cams, reverse cams, all the necessary cameras. There's a camera I saw a friend of mine install recently that watches the activity within the cabin of the vehicle equally. These things are actually very good because a lot of times things happen and the way it happens seems so bizarre that if you didn't have a camera, you're not going to.
And we can have panic buttons in the vehicle as well.
Yes, I don't know much about the panic buttons really, especially in the vehicle setup. But I think I can make some checks on it and get back to you with that.
All right, so we're not going to do the defensive driving now, but you're going to show me some techniques. All right, so you can tell me what is it that you want to do and what should I do now?
All right, so I'm just going to give you a basic technique, some basics. So first, hand to hand. Then I'm going to show you, we have some props here.
All right, so again, these are props. It's a machete and a prop gun too. Prop gun.
Yes, sir. Prop gun. So I'm just going to show you basic maneuver moves first with hand to hand, and then how to disarm.
How to disarm.
Yeah, but disclaimer, you have to be trained for a period of time before you can actually do certain things. So what I'm showing you is a step-by-step principle.
Right.
But it's not a case that I'm going to tell you, go out there and go disarm somebody.
Right, go there and disarm somebody.
All right.
All right, don't just go out and disarm somebody unless you're properly trained. All right. You might kill yourself.
Indeed. And when it comes on to all right, so when it comes on to to self-defense, what we have to remember is that self-preservation, I keep stressing, I can't
self-preservation.
And when it comes to self-preservation, it means that you have to be more vicious than the assailant. I want to say more, you have to be more vicious than the assailant. That's the only way. You can't just be like, oh, no, that now cut
that pushes
it. So you put yourself in a defensive stand. Why you put yourself in?
So I must put my right foot forward or my
left foot. Anyone if you comfortable with.
All right, this.
All right, so anyone if you comfortable with. You have two hands up, right?
All right, Jovan. No, but that lick me too hard, you know, that makes it, All right, ready. All
right, these hands interchange their purpose. Meaning, when I say interchange, one attack, one defend, one attack, one defend, one attack. So if you're attacking with this one, this hand don't just stay so. No, the hand is automatically defending.
So what do you want me to do? Attack you?
All right, just a basic punch. Let me show you.
Basic punch. All right, cool. So.
All right. First and foremost, nobody now will come attack me. So.
Okay.
All right. So come again.
All right.
Yeah, man. All right.
So that can work.
Yeah, man. That can work. So ready? Come again. Ready?
All right.
Boom. Right? You realize?
So I realize you step back.
I step back. I put myself outside of your range of action. So if you by chance now, I want to strike you off this way. If by chance I want to pull you in and give you this. If by chance I want to give you a elbow. I can use all those methodologies to get you down. But what I do, take myself out of the range of action.
All right, so come again.
Ready?
All right.
Boom, boom.
Oh.
Right?
So what if you surprise you and go so boom and black and black?
You're not good at that because first and foremost, you're totally discombobulated when me catch your hand.
So most time somebody might have a knife and they might heading for your stomach.
All right. We can do.
All right, let's
We're going to do the machete first and then we talk about the knife. The machete is a little different than the knife because with a machete, you need to have striking distance.
All right, so again, this is a prop. A long time I hold machete, so you already know?
Like the
sure you can stop that one here?
No, I'm never show you both wrong and right.
I used to watch Xena Warrior Princess today, right?
Jaja.
All right, so you already know?
I'm going to show you both wrong and right principle. With a machete, you need what is known as a striking distance. So let me show you now. If you hold a machete like this, you have to have the gravitational pull to actually impact a specific wound. If you're supposed to just come so, you realize you don't have nothing much. If the machete is sharp enough, you will probably slice, but not to the extremity. So with a machete, it actually purposes to chop and not to stab. So you have to have the distance and the gravitational pull and the way to actually impact effective wound. So what we are going to know, we have different
coming
options.
From this end.
Yeah, man, you come from that end.
And so.
You never come so with a machete. I am your pick. Cool. You ever come so or so.
All right, cool.
Right? Now, these are the first thing. A lot of persons say, boy, first line of defense, you put up your hand. So. If a piece of board, your hand can break.
Not the machete.
But the machete, your hand will come off. So it's not a case I say, come, let me show you. Put up your hand. If you realize, my hand is right there, so.
Cool.
That don't make sense.
All right.
So what we do, we go closer. So you put up your hand, boom.
Oh, so long before
before your hand can reach up.
All right, go back this up. Go back here. So as you stay, say, yo, Javan, you run in?
Yeah, man, you can run in or you create distance. You can run in or you create distance. You don't create vertical distance, you create lateral distance.
All right.
When we say lateral distance, I mean you don't go back. You always go to the side.
Okay, all right. Come again now.
All right.
Let's see if you can go to side or back.
All right.
All right.
Boom.
Okay.
Cool?
Cool. We just take a flick over.
No, I'm going to flick you over.
But it's all right.
But
all right, so let me see the gun now.
All right, with the firearm. Oh, Lord. The firearm, here you go.
Right.
With a firearm now.
A different thing, no, Jovan, I tell you, I back up on you.
All right, a different thing, but with all of the weapons, you have to remember something that is known as critical distance. Critical distance is normally at least an arm length and a half away from who you are, or who you coming, or your attacker. All right, so a firearm, first and foremost, you know, come here like you're ready. No, before you even do that, man, take out your wallet and shoot you.
Okay.
No, sir, don't kill me. Please, don't kill me. I beg you, bro. Bro, please, I beg you. What you want? You want wallet? Your mullet is.
Phone.
I'm phone Jesus. Me not. Alright, sit there. Boom. Create distance.
You not to come and go and say though.
No,
but I get what you're saying. Right, so come again.
Alright, so you create
Phone,
distance.
wallet.
Phone. See it, my virgin. Now you have two ways. You can either hand it or throw it to the ground. If you're going to throw it to the ground, you can't make it look like say throw it to the ground because that would agitate the person.
Right.
You're going, yo brother, please not kill me. Not kill me, please, not kill me. See it there.
Right.
Once you come so and grab the weapon,
Turn it away.
you have to move the nozzle from your direction. Right. When you come so, you hit the muscle area so, with sufficient force. And a baby hit. If it was a real life event, the hit would probably cause it to be excruciating pain. Boom. Charge the firearm, step back, come out of the critical distance state, point, I'm ready.
All right, so there we have it, some basic techniques. There's a lot more to learn, so I recommend, okay, I don't want this. So I recommend that you contact the necessary people that you can learn some defense techniques. And of course, you can contact Jovan what's the name of your business?
Kars Institute of Defensive Driving.
All right, cool. So you can contact them. You can look them up on Google. And so you can learn defensive driving and also consider other businesses that do self-defense techniques as well. All right, so that's it for us on the Alric Show. Keep safe and remember, self-preservation is key. The Alric Show will be back next week.
Alric Show.